Are we live? Are we live and in living color? Oh my god, are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Look, it's the Lil Blue Guru. Alright, well, the Lil Blue Guru. It's been a while since he's been on. He's been traveling the cosmos doing something. God knows what he's been up to with him. It's hard to say. But we're gonna find out here. We're gonna get his theme music going here. We can't. It wouldn't be the Lil Blue Guru if we couldn't sit with the guru, right? How's everybody doing out there on this Monday? Hope good. I hope the energies are treating you well. This is Rockin' Larry Lockin' with the Larry Lockin' 5 channel, Pleiadian Blue Love Healing /YouTube. We got a Facebook page by the same name. I'd encourage everybody also to check out the Larry Lockin' 4 channel for one reason. Well, there's some videos on there about the orbs and channeling the orbs, but there is over, I don't know, probably 1,200 pictures now of different light language and various pictures of orbs that we have on there now that are from our page. And that's another thing. I would check out our Facebook page if you could. Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs page. It's called Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs page. Okay, all of these channels I have are take-on pages that I have. And the page is really awesome. It's very interactive. Okay, it's a very interactive page. I mean, we also post your stuff there. You can't, unless you're an admin, you can't post to a timeline of a page. But if you put one of your pictures in the comment section and you want it posted, or really, we won't do one unless it's really out. It's got to be something really phenomenal for one, because it's just too much space. But if you've got 2 or 3, we prefer 3. No more than 5, because I don't really like posting more than 5 at once, because that's all it'll show. And, you know, attention spans being what they are nowadays, you have to kind of make the most of your time and exposure. So, you know, that being said, I hope everybody's handling the energies well. Dealing with the age of Aquarius, okay? And with that being said, I got to make sure we're live here. It kept cutting in and out on me. Okay. All right, we are live. Okay. That's good. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and hear from the Lil Blue Guru after we hear his theme music first. So, with that being said, we'll see you on the other side. And here we go. I just wanted to make sure that the broadcast was good and we're good, and alright, and here we go with the theme music for the Lil Blue Guru. It's been a while for him. Too motherfucking many of them. They don't mean how many in a row. He means how many parallel can you see tomorrow. Alright. Hi, you're tuned into the Lil Blue Guru Hour show. Whatever you might want to call it. The Lil Blue Guru from time to time pops in and answers a few questions. If you've got a question for the Lil Blue Guru you'd like to have him answer sometime through consciousness, you can email us at Lockin Larry, that's LOCKENLARRY @gmail.com. Or you can find me, Larry Lockin, on Facebook and most every other social media outlet at the Larry Lockin channel, sometimes spaced out, sometimes not. So when I usually get a few questions racked up, I go ahead and contact the Lil Blue Guru, who I've been contacting for a couple years now. Really, really, really great soul. He's about 1 trillion years old. But he's got 3 questions now that we're going to hit him with. The Lil Blue Guru's energy is here. So I'm going to start off with the first question we had emailed in. Lil Blue Guru, Milt in Moscow, Idaho, writes in to ask, what is a society like that doesn't exist in third-dimensional time? How does it function? I'm just curious how they manage to avoid having to have a clock as a point of reference. Well, thank you so much, Milt from Moscow. What say you, Lil Blue Guru?
Your soul. The concept of timekeeping in your third-dimensional reality is so deeply ingrained in your daily lives that we know that it's hard for you to imagine. Life without, wondering what time it is in setting your life around a clock. But imagine for a moment, a world where, at the passing of time was not measured by the ticking of hands on a clock's face. In this world, there would be much more fluid and subjective. In behaviors, people would wake up when the sun rose and go to sleep. When the sun set, you might say days might be measured by the cycle of light and darkness. Seasons would be marked by changing weather and the growth and decay of plants. Without clocks, schedules and appointments would be entirely dependent on the alignment of the stars and the position of the. People would rely on natural cues to determine when it was time to eat, work, and to rest. There would be no rush hour, no deadlines, and no time-related stress. However, life without clocks does bring some challenges, especially when you come at it from a third-dimensional perspective. As it stands right now, for you, communication and coordination would be more difficult. Without some sort of a time reference to always point to, it would be hard to meet up with friends and travel. And such things as that. That would make it really complicated to your souls when you say for you. There'd be no way to synchronize departure and arrival times as far as you see it from your third-dimensional reality. Yet, however, without that constant ticking of the clock, you might find a deeper connection to the natural world. You might open up your consciousness and pay more attention to the changing of seasons. The movement of the star cycles of life. Life would become a little bit slower and more contemplative. Allow you some time to really think about things. Allowing for a greater appreciation for the now moment to really start focusing on now moment living. In this world that you speak of, the notion of time, as linear, will fade away. You would be in more of the horizontal and more of instead of a vertical timeline. As you might put it, that now moment would become everything. Everything would be focused around the now moment. The past is no longer here. The past doesn't exist in the future. Non-existent as well. There is only the now moment. Time would absolutely become more subjective. People would become more tuned into their own internal rhythms. Without clocks, dear souls, the concept of punctuality would lose its meaning. People would no longer be bound by time constraints and deadlines. They would be free to follow their own natural rhythms and do things at their own pace. Yes, dear souls, life without clocks would certainly be different. But it's about your consciousness level being able to function in a higher dimension, such as this. But it would bring a greater sense of harmony for sure. You would have a deeper appreciation for every now moment that makes up your lives and remembered your souls. There is only the now moment. Dear
Lil Blue Guru, thank you so much for answering that question. I really appreciate it. I'm sure Milton Moscow does too. Now, Susie in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, I know that's a mouthful, north of the border, Susie in Saskatoon, she'd like to know, when some people, she says, why is it that when some people in my aura are upset at something that has nothing to do with me, why do they get angry and why do they lash out at me? Why do I get to bear the brunt of it?
Soul, of course. One of the other enjoyable things about their dimensional life. It is a psychological defense mechanism, you might say. For the most part, it is said most often by the mouth, but through subconscious mind guide. It is used to diffuse what is obviously becoming a verbal match on the verge of being lost by the one who says it. After all, when anyone allows their emotional responses to override their logical thought process. In anger, is a good beginning emotion for humans to lose control on. I think you would agree to your soul. In that case, the conversation is all but over right there. You're face to face, you better. Simply raise your arms and hands slowly to the sky and take a deep breath. Just pause for a second and walk away. There's no good at that point that can come from continuing such an encounter or conversation. By continuing, a whole lot of potential negative consequences can arise, including death. In some cases, dear souls, as we see in your third dimensional reality. Anger is a very nasty emotion. So, just be careful, dear soul, and think it through and understand that it's their problem within themselves. It's not you, you just happen to be messenger or person in the line of fire. But just take a deep breath, your soul, and walk away. Remember what the Lil Blue Guru told you.
Well, thank you, Lil Blue Guru. I hope that answered your question, Susie in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, north of the border. All right, Lil Blue Guru, we've got one more final question for you today. One more final question on the charts, and we'll let you get away off into the higher dimensions where you're at, sir, and where you're currently surfing around in. Okay, so Nigel in Nottingham, in the United Kingdom, Nigel in Nottingham, emailed in. He says he understands that everything is energy, but he's asking what powers energy, what starts energy. He's curious. He says it's on his mind from time to time, and he's just trying to figure it out. He's just wanting to know, what the heck is up with energy, Lil Blue Guru? And again, that was Nigel in Nottingham in the United Kingdom.
Dear soul, I will try to put it in your Earth's third dimensional reality. Words, you might say. Energy. Yeah, yes, energy. Well, we know we all do know. Like, you mentioned your soul. Everything is energy. But in a third dimensional reality, energy is like this. Energy is the capacity for you to work, do work or cause change. You manifest in various forms, like what you might call kinetic energy. Is motion, potential stored. Potential energy, dear souls, is store energy waiting to be activated or used. Thermal energy is which can be converted from one form to another. Let me kind of break it down for you this way, dear soul. And keep in mind the Lil Blue Guru here is about 1 trillion years old. If you ever put it into Earth terms, your energy is the ability to do work, meaning the capacity to exert a force. To cause displacement of some sort, your kinetic energy is possessed by an object. Due to its motion, the motion of that object is creating that energy. You also have what's called potential energy to your soul. Now that kind of energy is stored in an object, it's stored in some sort of a system. Some sort of the compound. And it's ready to be converted into that kinetic energy or other forms. It's kind of laying there. And wait for when it's needed, you might say. You also have your heat thermal energy. Now, your thermal energy is related to the movement of atoms and molecules. Often, it manifests into heat. There are all types of energies to your souls. Chemical energy, that is stored in chemical bonds. Electroenergy. That's the movement of an electric charge. Nuclear energy. It's stored in the nucleus of an atom. And more energy. Conversion energy can be transformed from one form to another. For example, dear soul chemical energy in your food. It can be converted into kinetic energy when we move. When we move around, we are activating that energy that was stored there. It went from potential to kinetic, if you will. The work is done when a force causes an object to move. And energy is required to perform that kind of work. Energy is conserved. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to another, dear soul. Understand that. You have your law of conservation of energy. Energy in action. Take the sunlight. For instance, take your sun. The sun's energy. It's in the form of light. It's in the form of heat. It powers life on your planet. It powers life on all planets when it comes from their suns. This allows plants to grow through what you call photosynthesis. In your food. Again, we go back to your food. Your soul's energy stored in food. In the form of chemical energy is converted into kinetic energy. When you move. Thermal energy keeps you warm. Does that make sense to your souls? Energy is everything and anything. It just comes in different forms. It cannot be destroyed. It either lays dormant until it needs to be used, or it's in perpetual motion constantly. But everything is energy. Remember that your soul, there is no in the higher realms. There is no love, and there's no hate. It's just energy. We take that back to your souls. There is love. Love is all there is to love is the only emotion there is when energy is exerted for the pure positivity and greater good of the collective. We also wanted to save your souls, that your batteries that you use to power your gadgets. That is chemical energy that is stored, and it's converted into electrical energy to be used right then and there. When the accord of the gadget is put into motion, dear souls. I hope that answers your question.
Well, I hope so too, Little Blue Guru. I hope Nigel got his answer there. That was quite a mouthful, Nigel in Nottingham. I hope you appreciated that. So we do thank Milt from Moscow, Susie from Saskatoon, and Nigel from Nottingham for writing in with those questions. And again, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, you can write your questions into LockandLarry, LockNLarry @gmail.com. And as soon as I've done it with two, but I like to have at least three good questions, or three questions that are going to take some thought by the Little Blue Guru to answer. So go ahead and send those in to LockandLarry@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook. You can find me anywhere on social media, actually, except for SunCloud, I think, and maybe one other, but I'm at Lock and Larry, or I'm at Larry Lock, and I mean channel, Larry Lock and channel. That's it. Sometimes it's spaced out, sometimes it's not. So that's all a person has to remember. But we do appreciate you tuning in, and we encourage you to check out our other venues as well. We do have 5 YouTube channels, as well as we have several Facebook pages. One that's really popular right now is the Pleiadian and Angelic Rainbow Orbs page. It's really popular right now. It's, for some reason, orbs must be coming into the forefront. I know I sure appreciate it, and I'm glad for the dialogue too. And with that being said, this is Rockin' Larry Lockin' the Iceman, and I'll holler at you in a minute. Well, that was it for the Little Blue Guru. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that, and with that being said, Let's see how many seconds I got here. Oh, I better... Yep, we're going to end this right... I thought I had under 20. Okay. There we go.